A lot of people are nervous about where the economy is headed, and many are wondering what it will mean for the Las Vegas housing market, which has been scorching hot for the last couple of years. Joining us to discuss that is radio host and realtor Harvey Blankfeld, along with John Ingram. Thank you both for being here, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us, Kendall. And let me introduce John. John's with Prosperity Home Mortgage. He's the branch manager, and he's a lender that we do a lot of business with. And he brings a lot of knowledge. And he's on the show, our radio show, regularly, and he brings that knowledge. So if they want to hear more from John after today, tune into the radio show.
Tell people when they can catch it.
Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on KDWN. Every Saturday, Las Vegas Real Estate Now, and we talk about all things real estate.
And that's where on the dial?
101.5 FM, 720 a.m.
Well, let's talk about these. The home prices have been going up and up, but it seems like they're leveling off a bit at this point.
Yeah, with this, the appreciation rate's slowing down quite a bit, and the inventory has been increasing. We've seen it go up. It was 2,000, a little over 2,000 homes at the beginning of the year. It's about 4,000 homes around the beginning of this month. There's over 5,000 single-family homes available right now, so it's been creeping up. It's not at a balanced market yet, but it's getting there. It's still seller's side. It's not a buyer's market yet, but it's getting a little easier on buyers.
Do interest rates have anything to do with that?
Well, let's ask John about that. I mean, I think
So, John, just recently the federal government raised interest rates by, I believe it was 3/4 of a point.
Correct.
How does that affect housing?
Well, it's really interesting because a lot of people would make the assumption that that increase would directly move interest rates up on mortgages.
Yeah.
And in fact, the opposite happened. We saw interest rates decline after they increased the Fed funds rate by that 3/4%. So things actually got a little better this week.
Not always the case, though, right? Sometimes there is a relationship.
Absolutely. Typically, there would be. The Fed moving that rate up would pressure mortgage rates up. But in this particular moment in time, mortgages are more heavily reacting to what's going on with inflation. And when the Fed signals that that they're getting serious about reacting against inflation, mortgages took that as a real positive sign that they can get this heading in the right direction, and they improved because of that.
It is interesting to think about, with inflation going the way it is inflation going to eat away at some of the equity that people have built up as a result of the housing prices going up?
Boy, you know, it's a great question, and for economists, I'd defer to them. But I would say this, is that right now the way we're seeing things, and everything I hear, is houses are going to continue to appreciate. And even if we get into a recession, Kendall, I want to say that housing should still do very, very well. Unlike the last recession, which was caused by housing, every other recession we've had, the last 5 or 6, housing has not only held its own, it's actually done a little bit better.
My understanding is that the bubble that existed in 2000, late 2008, 7, whatever it was largely in part that people were over leveraged. In this case, a lot of homes have a lot of cash in them now.
Absolutely. It's a completely different dynamic right now, where you had, back then people could borrow money just by signing a piece of paper. Now John's company, no lender will let anybody borrow a home unless they can actually afford it. They really vet the buyers very carefully now.
Which protects everybody in the long run.
It protects our market. It really does. They've done a wonderful job. So anybody who's bought a home in the last 20 years knows the mortgage companies are looking deep, deep, deep into your financial history.
And you got to also keep in mind there that for the last 15 years or so, 80+% of all transactions were owner-occupied. Unlike what we had previously, where everybody in the world was an investor in the Las Vegas market.
All right, good to hear the optimistic outlook. Appreciate you both, gentlemen.
Thank you
very much for being here. And we want to thank Las Vegas Real Estate for sponsoring this segment. For more information, you can visit lvrealestateradio.com or call that phone number 702-203-1165. We'll be back.